Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this International Association of Maritime Economists Conference 2001. I'd like to start the proceedings by inviting the guests of honour to the podium, one at a time. Can I ask Mr. James Hughes Hallett to please join the top table, Mr. C.C. Tung, Professor Poon Chung Kwong, and Professor Hercules Haralambidis. Professor Tai Lee, Conference Co-Chairman. Okay. Honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to welcome you to Cullinane Shangri-La Hotel this morning and to see that despite all potential hazards and pitfalls, monsoons, typhoons, and the vagaries of air travel, you've managed to join us today for the start of this 2001 annual conference of IAME, International Association of Maritime Economists. As many previous organisers of this and other conferences will recognise, the next 3 days represents the culmination of virtually 18 months' work. I trust you will believe me when I say, heartfelt, that my department at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University are not only pleased but extremely relieved that we have at last brought this event to fruition, hopefully a successful one. As I've discovered over the last 18 months in organising an event such as this, the efforts of numerous people should be acknowledged. However, without wishing to delay proceedings any more than necessary, I would just like to take this opportunity to give a special thank you to the previous organisers of this event in years gone by. I'm sure the regular attendees of this annual conference, myself included, will recognise that there have been very few mistakes made in the past. As organisers of the 2001 event, we have a lot to live up to. Any success we achieve in maintaining that high standard is due in no small measure to the precedents which have been set by the organisers of these previous conferences and by our efforts to emulate what they've done. This is not to say, however, that this Hong Kong conference will not prove unique in many ways. The team involved in its organisation has striven hard to make it so. I sincerely hope that your memories of this conference and of your stay in Hong Kong will remain with you for many years, and I hope for all the right reasons. I'd like to start proceedings this morning by inviting the first welcoming address to be delivered by the president of my university. Professor Poon Chung Kwong has been president of the Hong Kong Polytechnic University since 1991 and was previously Professor of Chemistry and Dean of the Faculty of Science at the University of Hong Kong. Because of his outstanding achievement in inorganic chemistry, through extensive publications and research work, he was awarded the degree of Doctor of Science by the University of London in 1979. Professor Poon is a Fellow of the University College of the University of London and Fellow and Chartered Chemist of the Royal Society of Chemistry, London. In recognition of his achievements and contributions to Hong Kong, he was honoured as one of the 10 outstanding young persons in Hong Kong in 1979. He was appointed Non-Official Justice of the Peace in 1989 and received the OBE in 1991. He was invited by the Swedish Royal Academy of Sciences to nominate candidates for the Nobel Prize for Chemistry in the years 1985 and 1991. Over the years, Professor Poon has chaired or been a member of numerous committees of the government and of industrial, business and educational sectors. He was an appointed member of the Legislative Council of Hong Kong from 1985 to 1991 and founding chairman of the Committee on Science and Technology of the Hong Kong Government from 1988 to 1991. He served on the Preparatory Committee of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region from 1995 to 1997 and has been a member of the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference since 1998. With those few words, I now have the pleasure of inviting Professor Poon to take the rostrum for his welcoming address. Professor Poon.
All the honoured guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I don't expect my colleague to say so many words about me because I'm just the president of the university, because the key members here are you all, professionals. I know nothing about this conference, the business of today. So I just kick off the meeting by saying a few words to welcome you all. First of all, on behalf of Polytechnic University, I welcome you all to this opening ceremony of this very important annual conference of the International Association of Maritime Economists. My university is a great honor to have this opportunity of organizing this important annual event in Hong Kong. And we are organizers, so we are very pleased to be that. And I'm also pleased to note that this conference has brought together many outstanding academics, entrepreneurs, businessmen, and professionals together from over 40 different countries to touch on a very important area that will affect, I'm sure, the economic growth of Hong Kong and the world. Now, for the past 160 years, Hong Kong has capitalized on its strategic location at the heart of Asia. And our city is the world's busiest container port for the past many years. It's also Asia's top transshipment hub in terms of air and sea cargo. Our export last year has actually played an important role in our economy recovery after the financial crisis in 1997. So it is not surprising that the transportation and logistics industry has been chosen by the Hong Kong government as a key area for future development and essential to the future vision, long-term vision of Hong Kong. So there's so much for us to do to meet all the challenges in front of us, especially in the new era of IT and the globalization of economies and the development of e-commerce and China's forthcoming admission to WTO later in the year. So there's plenty of opportunities for this industry to develop further. Now, our Department of Shipping and Transport Logistics has been working closely with government over the last few years on a number of projects, now, such as, to name a few, the investigation into the potential of Hong Kong as a replacement center for shipping. Now, our department also, in collaboration with key members of the industry, is proposing and will be implementing a master degree program in shipping and international shipping and transport logistics. Am I right? This is the master program. I think the first of its kind in Hong Kong, in order to meet the manpower needs from the middle and senior management in the industries. So we have been working closely on this. Now, therefore, this conference, I think, is extremely timely. And this conference has drawn more than, I think, 60 delegates. They are well-renowned economists coming here to share their research results and findings, their ideas and their opinions on these very important topics in the shipping and logistics in general, and in particular in some very special areas like the shipping and ports and port economics and policy, logistics and although some other topics that I cannot remember all of them because that's not my field, such as supply chain management, et cetera, et cetera. So I think after the discussion, you can all take home with new ideas. All these are important for future development of these industries. Now, before closing, I'd like to invite all the participants who have traveled from afar to take time off to visit this beautiful and dynamic city of Hong Kong. And before closing, I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate members of the organizing committee for the concerted effort in making this conference possible. So finally, I wish you all a happy day and successful conference in the next 3 days. Thank you very much.
Vice President of IAME, Professor Haralambidis, will deliver a speech on behalf of our President. Professor Hercules Haralambidis is at the moment Professor of Maritime Economics at Erasmus University in Rotterdam. He is also the editor of International Journal of Maritime Economics. He has published a lot of papers, national and international journals. Also, he is quite active academic professor for the industry, for the students, for the maritime field in the world. Professor Hercules Haralambide.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First, I am delighted to be in a position to welcome you all at the IAME annual conference that takes place here in Hong Kong. The origin of the term maritime economics, in other words, the study of shipping and port economics, dates back to the 60s, if not before. For a brief note on the history of our discipline, I would like to urge you to read the editorial of Professor Richard Goss on the history of maritime economics that was published in the previous issue of the International Journal of Maritime Economics. Maritime economists, I have to say, both in academia and in industry, they have made important contributions, both at a company level and at a policy level, and undoubtedly they have influenced the way the wider maritime sector is structured and it operates. Nowadays, the role of maritime economists is becoming more crucial in view of the important developments that are taking place in the form of maritime logistics, horizontal and vertical integration in the shipping industry, as well as the increasing private sector participation in ports around the world. However, until 1999, there was no single platform that could bring more effectively people and maritime knowledge together. So IAME was born 10 years ago with the aim to foster stronger links among maritime economists to the benefits of the wider maritime sector. Since that time, 1991, the organization has organized important conferences in France, United Kingdom, United States, Canada, Italy, and now in Hong Kong. Maritime economics, we must say, is now taught in many good schools around the world, such as the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. An international journal under the same name also exists since 1999, and a number of books have been published on the subject recently. In 1999, through the generous financial support of the Dutch Maritime Network, IAME established a permanent secretariat based at my university in Rotterdam. The objective of the secretariat is to facilitate the smooth operation of the organization of IAME and constitute an important information network node that, through the use of IT, promotes the wider objectives of IAME globally. Among various other tasks, the Secretariat maintains the websites of the association that can be visited at www.iame.nl, which is visited by more than 3,000 guests every month that we consider an important achievement for a non-profit organization such as IAME. Membership to the organization is open to all people with a general interest in maritime economics, the study of shipping and ports, not necessarily economists. Leaflets and application forms can be found outside in the foyer. With this, I would like to conclude my introduction and first and foremost thank Professor Kevin Cullinane and his staff, as well as the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, for organizing this conference and being able to bring us all here together. Acknowledgement is also thankfully due to all the sponsors of the conference that, through their sponsorship, have made this event possible. And on a personal note, I would like to stress that after having seen the papers, many at least of the papers to be presented in the next 3 days, the level and quality of the speakers and the so far impeccable organizational arrangements that have been made, I believe that by Friday we all may be able to say that IAME Hong Kong 2001 has really been a IAME conference that has set the standards for other IAME conferences in the future. Thank you very much for your attention, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Hercule.